everybody. Welcome to another episode of Tell Me More with me, Tony Moore. Hope you guys are still staying safe, staying in your house, washing your hands, washing your body, staying 6 feet away from everybody and social distancing. And hopefully this is a little bit of entertainment while you are quarantined in your house. Thank you guys for joining. I hope you guys have enjoyed all of my little talks and interviews thus far. And this one for sure is going to be a kiki. Now, I have known Laganja Estranja since Laganja Estranja. I have watched her journey all throughout her drag career, and I cannot be more proud of her. And I'm so happy to finally have a chance to sit and catch up with her. So, let's go ahead and get Laganja in and have with her. She probably just woke up. Or knowing her, she probably woke up and then this is like her nap time. So we'll see how this goes down. Oh!
Good afternoon, Gorge!
And how's the look?
And how's the Versace? Hold on, let me get it centered. There.
Hold on. Oh, look, I can, like, you have turned this into, like, lifestyles of the rich and famous.
Have to. Mama, you have to. You have to make do with what you got.
The doll is always prepared. I live.
Now, I have to tell you, when the camera messed up and it showed us the door, I just knew you were going to walk out the door and give us an entrance and a runway. So I'm going to need you to incorporate that from now on in your next shows. You need to come out the door, give us a walk down the aisle, some and sit on the couch. Yeah, I need that.
But listen, this is a one-man band. So that was just me moving the camera into my position.
I mean, trust me, I've actually been lucky. I've had 3 friends who've really helped me during this time make all of my, digital content. Because Mama, she's been hanging upside down outside cars, doing backflips. I don't know if you've seen, but it's on my feed, girl. She's been going in.
If it's one thing that I have always known about you, is that you put on a show. And she's always extra. So yeah. For those of you who are not familiar, the girls have been doing IG drag shows. And Laganja is the show. Mama rolled up in a car. On top of the car, flipped all the extras.
Jumped off the car, yeah.
My first thought was, she on top of the car in these heels. How that hood looking?
The hood's fine. It's a beat up Nissan, girl. So it really... I just added more character, if you will.
So I was telling the girls before you came on that, like, I've known you since you started drag.
Yeah, day one, Mama, Mickey's.
Girl, and like, I still remember, first of all, day one, you told me what your name was, and I said, who?
Beg your pardon?
And for the longest time, I could never say your name right. I was like, okay, wait, tell me one more time. It's
That's true. I forgot about that. You did have trouble with it.
I'm not familiar with the cannabis and the weed, so I did not make the connection or anything like that. I was like, these queens will come up with a name, and I was like, Laranja, Lasagna. What? Say it one more time, and I would have you tell me right before you go out.
I remember.
So that way I remember it, and then she would forget. But what I could never forget was that I remember when I first saw you, and I was like, oh, she came to slay. Like, she's not just in the gig just to be in the gig. She's like...
I've always been that girl.
You have. And, like, for me, just watching your journey, like, I've always felt so proud of you because you worked hard before you even went to Drag Race. Like, I don't think many people know how hard you were already working before that opportunity presented itself. So you were just ready for the opportunity, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky that hard work is just in my blood and in my DNA. You know, my parents have been incredible supporters through this whole thing, even when, they didn't quite understand the cannabis connections and things or the drag. And they really raised me to just put your all into whatever you're doing. So, when we went into quarantine and I realized that these digital drag shows were going to be a thing, I just saw it as an opportunity to challenge myself again and do things that I couldn't do in the club, like have a car or, like have a set reveal, like or whatever these little things I've been doing that, you know, I wouldn't necessarily be able to do in the club.
Yeah.
And I think for me, you know, hard work, it's just all about how bad you want something. You know, I have a huge passion for drag and for dance. Even in, you know, these times where we're stuck at home, it's like I'm still trying to figure out ways to keep my dream alive. And I think that, you know, for people who are out there struggling and like, well, why am I not working that hard? Like, it's as simple as just deciding. You really have a choice to decide if you want to work for your dreams and your goals. So I just wake up every day knowing that that's what I've decided. And so I have to do, you know, A, B, and C to get to where I want to go.
But that's been like performing has been ingrained in you because before drag, you were pursuing dance.
Yes.
So like you already have that natural ability to perform. I think now drag has just been the extra element to really like, yes, to really
it's elaborating on all those skills I learned. I mean, I grew up in musical theater. You know, I was touring professionally by the age of 14 around the United States with an equity tour. So I learned really early on, when you commit to something, you have to like see it through, and you have to really give it your best in order to get the most out of all that work.
Yeah. Now, I know that you're a planner. Did you ever foresee, when you started drag, the journey that you would have in drag that's led you up to the moment that you're in now?
You know, I've definitely had those moments where it's just like, I can't believe drag brought me here. Like, I remember when I was at, you know, Machu Picchu in Peru, I just was like, I can't believe, you know, drag brought me here. I never would have thought that. But I guess as far as like where I'm at in my career, yes, because that was never an option. You know, I never, there was nothing but success. That's just always been the only option. So I've just had to forge ways to figure out how to get there. You know, it's like I have the end goal in sight. I know I want to, you know, have an empire, a book, a perfume, a television show, movies, albums, tours.
He wants
just figuring out how I get there now.
Yeah. And I mean, listen, the hustle, I feel like the hustle has just never stopped, like since day one. Like you have been just trying to figure out.
Especially for someone who smokes as much as I do. I sure have a lot of energy.
Because at some point I would have said, okay, you know what? I'm done. I got to sit down.
Yeah, well, I have. There have been many moments like that. In fact, you know, I'm sure you remember, but last year I was going to leave and move to Colorado. And you know, there have been many times when I've wanted to give up on myself, but I've been so fortunate to have people like yourself who have really supported me and who remind me of how far I've come. You know, I think that's one of my biggest downfalls, is that I rarely take time to celebrate the highs. You know, it's like, okay, I just choreographed for Miley Cyrus. That was great. What's next? Like, there's never really that moment of, okay, I did it, or this was it. And I think that that's a curse and a blessing, because it's a blessing because it keeps me pushing forward and keeps me going and keeps that drive of mine like a little hamster in a wheel. But it also is not necessarily the best for me emotionally, because like I said, I'm never really giving myself that pat on the back, because I'm always expecting, well, you could be doing more, and look at that girl. You know, I compare myself a lot too. That's another one of my downfalls, I think, is that, you know, I look at some of the other Drag Race girls who may be more financially successful. You know, like for instance, right now, Trixie, she's doing these full coverage Fridays, and she's able to donate her money to charity. And it's just like, I wish I could do that. Like, I hate that I'm having to beg people to tip me $1 for these crazy shows that I'm putting on. But that's just my current financial situation. I'm not her. I'm not able to do that. But you see, I judge myself for that, because ultimately I wish I could be, you know, raising some money right now for a dance foundation. But mama, I live in LA. I got to pay this electricity. I'm stuck at this house for the next 2 months. So, you know, you just do what you can. And I try, you know, not to like compare myself, because at the end of the day, we're so different, Trixie and I. And I think it's incredible that she's doing what she's doing, you know?
But it's hard to, because just like you, I do the same thing. Like, in the hosting realm, I'm always like, oh, comparing myself to someone else and thinking, well, what else can I do to
Right.
propel myself forward, and how can I be on their same level? Or, even in nightlife, like I'm not like a nightlife, persona per se, but like I'm in it, and sometimes I'm like, oh, how come I didn't get that opportunity, or how can I do that? And so I think it's just
Deborah's mother is doing an interview. Quit. Sorry.
it's fine. I think it's just natural for us to compare ourselves, only because like that's what we strive for. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like when we see that person, we're like, oh, that's what I wanted. And how did
Right.
that person get there? And what am I not doing to get
And
there?
I think as long as you're looking at it in a constructive way like that, and you're being, happy for others who succeed, because I think that's a big part of it too. Alyssa said it best, jealousy is a killer in this industry. And
It is.
if you don't want your friends to succeed, well, then you're not a real friend. Because at the end of
Yeah.
the day, I want the people around me to be challenging me and to help me get there and to help me grow. And so every time now when I see a queen do something that I want to do, I first and foremost go like, congratulations to them. Like, that's amazing. They forged new ground. And then I say to myself, like, okay, you will too. Because I think it's like, you have to like really counterbalance your thoughts. And so you're never going to be able to take away those negative thoughts. We're humans, we're people. We're always going to have those feelings. But if you can right away then catch that and say something positive to, you know what I mean? Counterbalance that whole emotional thing. It helps me at least be more stable. And I think because, there are so many queens out there in my eyes who are doing so much better than me, I just allow that to come in and then to leave, because at the end of the day, there's space for everyone. I truly believe that. And I believe at every level, no matter if you're the #1 queen, a RuPaul's Drag Race queen, a local queen, there are jobs and places for everyone. And we just have to continue to support one another in all of those different levels of the ladder. Because at the end of the day, if there wasn't a ladder, you wouldn't be getting to the top. So it's all about, it's like an ecosystem. You have to have everything. So I'm happy that I'm a part of it. Yes, I want to be, somewhere bigger and better, whatever that means. But I also know where I am right now is incredibly amazing. And I'm so grateful that even during this crazy time, I can come on Instagram Lives and make tips off doing drag shows. And I mean, there are plenty of people out there who have lost their job completely, and they can't just go on Instagram and make money or have a platform. So I'm lucky, that I am where I am.
But I tell you what, these drag shows on IG have given us a whole new perspective on what y'all can do as queens. And
it's so crazy. I mean, just to see people's creativity, like I said, what will you do when you can't be at the club and have physical, reactions or actions with an audience? I think drag is so much about that, playing off the audience. So it's been interesting to see how people interpret it.
Oh, like, you with like the interest of the car, and the set reveal was actually my favorite, because I thought, oh, she got the fabric, she's living, boom. And I said, oh, we have a whole set.
She cleared the patio out. She cleared the patio.
My favorite was the neighbor in the back, living with the dog.
She's a huge supporter of the drag community. She worked with Katya and Trixie in Alaska. She's great, but that was pretty hilarious. She killed it.
But it's been so good. So like, I'm thankful for the IG shows, because I think it pushes everyone to think, how can I utilize this space? How can I utilize these stairs? What can I do that I've always wanted to do, but I can't do because of club restrictions? You can't bring a projector, into the club.
You can't use fire.
Yes, you can't bring in a car, so y'all's creativity.
Well, and I think it also just goes to show you how strong the LGBTQ community is. I mean, the fact that creators are making and supporters are supporting, and we're still keeping it going even at home, I think that just shows like our community is so strong. And I mean, of course, we've faced a virus before, obviously with the HIV crisis, so I'm just happy to know the newer generations are still continuing that vibe of like, no, we're a community. We've got this. We have each other's backs. Like, that's really cool.
Yeah. So, all right. So you've been on Drag Race. You've been on So You Think You Can Dance.
Yeah. Twice.
What twice. Rooted for you all times.
Thank you.
I have my opinions about So You Think, but that's that. I'm gonna say it. I don't see why you didn't make the show because I feel like, especially the second time, you definitely grew from that time to the second time, and I feel like they should have given you a chance. But we're in this industry; we know what they're doing. They're creating a show,
I mean,
and
they didn't pick anyone above 21 except one person, and I think they were 23.
yeah,
So it was a very young cast last season.
yeah. But that doesn't mean that you are still not just uber
No, but I'm
talented
just
in
thinking
what you're
like
doing.
if you're thinking of overall casting and the way it worked, you know,
Yeah,
I don't know. Any TV show I've ever worked on, I really trust those people. And I think at
yeah,
the end of the day, as much as I really wanted to be on that show and would have loved to be on that show, I'm not sure I could have physically done it. It was so
yeah.
demanding, just the audition process alone. And
Hmm.
then the way those kids have to tour after it's over, kind of like the work the world is doing now. But, you know,
Yeah,
it's so strenuous on the body.
yeah.
And I don't know, I believe everything happens for a reason. And I'm still so much in touch with the people from that company, which just
Yeah.
goes to show you that they did love me. They did really want me on there. But I think, like I said, they just had to think about their overall show and not the
Hmm.
reality show, but the whole
Yeah.
show itself. How So You Think works, what they put you through, you know, because they really love their dancers. And that was so
Yeah.
cool to see, you know, like the minute someone was injured, they were being taken care of like in such a way that I just had never seen before in doing reality television, which is why I went back
Mhm.
the second season to try again because I felt
Yeah.
so comfortable with everyone running that. So I mean,
Yeah.
I wish I was on it. I do, but I ultimately think that you know there's something bigger out there, and hopefully it's Dancing with the Stars.
Yes. The
Because
first
that I
drag queen
really
on
want to
Dancing
be
with the
on. I
Stars.
feel like it's not too physical like that. Like it's not crazy insane. Like it would be the perfect next step. So I'm just putting that out in the universe.
Yeah. Put it all out in the universe.
Yeah.
But what did you learn about yourself through each of those shows? You know, from being on Drag Race and being on So You Can Think. You know, all of that is a journey. What did you end up learning like about yourself during those times?
Well, I think for So You Think, I just learned that pretty much anything I put my mind to physically, I can like match it. Even though I
Hmm.
am older and I haven't been dancing like I should be as a dancer, I've been dancing as a drag queen doing little gay stuff, but not like in class, keeping the body conditioned, you know, really treating myself like a real dancer.
Yeah.
So to like do that in such a short amount of time, it showed me like, wow, I'm physically capable of so much still, even at this age, when I just focus.
Hmm.
Um, and I guess from Drag Race, I mean, gosh, the lessons I've learned have I could write a book on it, but if I
Yeah.
had to walk away and say like what's the one thing I learned from Drag Race, it would just be like I guess how Hollywood works and how TV works and how reality television works and how this industry is one thing but appears as another. Um,
Hmm.
I was so young then. I was 23 years old. I'd never done any sort of commercial television thing at all. I mean, I danced for Christina Aguilera on the AMAs, and I guess I'd
Hmm.
done a couple of little TV things, but nothing like that, where I was really a
Yeah.
character and being portrayed. And so I just learned so much about how television works, which obviously helped me when I went to So You Think in giving
Yeah.
interviews. And, you know, I definitely helped a lot of the dancers on that show because they're
Mhm.
dancers. They're not television people. They're young. And so,
Yeah.
like, I would tell them little tricks and tips, you know, while I was there. And that made me feel really good to know that, like, they were supported because I guess I didn't
Yeah.
feel supported, you know, when I went on Drag Race. I didn't know anything. So,
Yeah.
uh, I wish I had had someone who could have like, you know, kind of explained how television works. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think those are the two things that I've taken away from both of those projects.
Yeah. And so would you ever consider or go and do All Stars of Drag Race if they asked?
You know, I've answered this question yes, and I've answered this question no. So it's like, I like how I just have kind of kept it ambiguous. No one really
So
knows.
how we feeling today? If they call today, what do you
On
think?
today, you know, I'll be honest. I watched Trixie Mattel's documentary recently on Netflix, Moving
Mhm.
Parts.
Yeah.
And it made me very emotional, and it made me, you know, here's how I truly feel. I feel like one day I'm probably going to have to do it again if I'm not able to succeed in another arena.
Hmm.
It is my hope that I will, and that I can
Yeah.
continue to prove myself in other ways, and that that will help me reach my ultimate end goal.
Yeah.
However, it's just complicated. It's complicated to go back. I mean, there's just so much that goes into it. First off, just the money aspect. I don't have
Yeah.
$10,000 in savings, and I need that. I mean, that's what it costs to compete on that show nowadays. I mean, it's almost
Yeah.
$1,000 a look that these girls are spending. And
Yeah.
people are like, oh, we'll just get it borrowed and da-da-da-da-da. But it's very complicated. Once you get on the show, you're not really allowed to tell people. So you go to showrooms and you're asking to borrow, but you can't really tell them all the details. And they know, but they don't really know. And they don't know how long you're going to last. And how much,
Yeah.
how long can you keep the outfit and the rental fees. And you know, there's
Yeah.
so much stress that goes into it just with the look and the money alone. Okay, so
Yeah.
if we get past that, let's say I find a sponsor and yada, 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 and I somehow magically do that because I could, and I would, I'd figure it out, but let's say I did that. Then you have the whole next part, which is like, okay, have you really improved? Like, I mean, that's not true. Of course I've improved. Yes, I'm better
Well,
at my
yeah.
acting skills and all of that, but you don't know how it's going to go in TV. You can get in there and freeze. You could get in there
Yeah.
and not necessarily be as funny as you are in real life. You know,
Yeah.
I think at 23, when I first did the show, I was so oblivious to it all. So I just went for it. Whereas now it's
Yeah.
like, I know what the tea is. So I don't know what that would do. I don't know if I would go in there and clam up, or if I would go in there and fall right back into the old pattern of giving them what they want. It's just very
Yeah.
hard to say, you know? And so for me, I just haven't wanted to take that risk, you know? And there are some days when it's like you're supposed to face your fears. You jumped out of a fucking you jumped out of a freaking airplane. You've
Yeah.
swam with sharks cageless. Like, you
Yeah.
performed on all these huge shows. Like, why are you so scared to go back? You need to face your fear and go back. But then other days, I'm like, no, girl, you don't need to push yourself like that. You're doing so much, and you're going to prove
Yeah.
yourself the way you want in your own lane. So it's just hard to say. It's really hard to say. I think if it's meant to be, things will align, and I will do it. Period.
I honestly think that knowing what you know now, I feel like you going into it would still be you. Like, you would go in there with things planned out and everything like that because that's just how you are. But I feel like you would go in there just knowing what to expect and allowing yourself have fun, boo. Like, just go in there, you do the gig. This is just like any other gig, and whatever happens, happens. But this
I
time,
just
just
think my
go in
problem is
and have
me
fun.
having fun equals me being crazy. You know how I am, girl. When I start to feel the fantasy, she gets rakakiki and she's up in it. And that's what they didn't like, because they felt like that wasn't the real me. And so that's what it's saying. I just am afraid it would be hard for me to not turn it on. Because mama, a camera and a light goes on and Miss Ganja is there. It is a different person. It's not, it's an extension of me, but it is something else.
Yeah, but I feel like that's all of us. Okay, case in point, you've seen me host at Mickey's, and a lot of people think that's how I am all the time. So then when I'm just out in the street and I'm just cool, calm, and collected, they're like, why aren't you? And I'm like, that's me, but it's a heightened me. It's me, like, knowing where I am and knowing that I have to entertain, staying true to myself. But like, if your energy level is here, I have to be here, so that way you have the option of bouncing up and down. But I have to maintain that energy for you. So like, I think in that aspect, yeah, we're all like that. We're all a persona. You know, it's like Prince. Prince wasn't at his house, you know, wearing assless chaps and like, you know, and doing Prince things. Like, he was an introvert. So like, you know, give him a stage and an instrument, he was who we know he is. So I think that's just all of us. And I don't know. I feel like you would do well. I think
I just
that
like,
you would
can you imagine me walking into the workroom acting normal? Like, that's not gonna happen. I would be the first one in
No.
line with the look on, still being extra. Like, that's just who I am. That hasn't changed. And so I just feel like, I don't know. I just feel like in the end, it wouldn't be good for me. It would just put me back where people, thought I was and blah, blah, blah. And I just feel like if I can continue to create other, avenues to show people who I am, then that way when I reach that end goal, I'll be able to say, like, you didn't just go do the one thing you knew would work, Because it's true. Yeah. Even if I went on the show and was horrible, it would still help me. Are you kidding? Being on television helps you, period. So I don't want to say that's the easy way out, but I just feel like for me, that's the easy way out. So I'm trying the harder way to just, go on different shows and try different projects and know that my talent is enough and someone's going to see it.
I absolutely agree. And I just appreciate the fact that you do push yourself in that way of, showing all sides of yourself and letting people see, like, I'm not just this, but guess what? I can also do this. And, oh, you thought it stopped there, boo? Nope. This is this. Because I feel like it does show your versatility and it does show how strong of a performer you are. And you have to do that, and you can't do that unless you do push yourself. Like, just an example, Melissa B. Fierce, when she went on Dragula, people are looking like, what are you doing here? And she's like, this is another thing that I wanted to do to push myself and to show people what else I can do. And like, you're one of those people that I think does that on a daily. You're like, you think I'm this, but guess what? Here's another trick. And people are like, okay, Ma, we'll do it.
Right. Yeah, I life is too short to be complacent. So I figure, why not try? And if I fail in public, won't be the first one and won't be the last time. I think I hear Willem over the fence screaming, Ma! Hi, George!
Oh, Miss Willem. What do you like and enjoy about the art form of drag? Because I've always said time and time again, drag is such an art form. But, like, what do you most enjoy about it?
I enjoy the whole fantasy of it. Like, my favorite thing about it is when I'm feeling like a true woman and I feel sensual and sexy. And then my favorite thing about watching it is when I see, someone really feeling it and believing they're the only woman in the world. I just love that. I think that's such an infectious feeling. And, I love when you see a performer and you're watching them and you just think that they think they're Beyonce in this moment. And they are in that moment.
That's me all the time.
Hello,
are you kidding?
Exactly.
Hello. Look, I feel the Beyonce fantasy, beard and all. Like, you cannot tell me I'm not Beyonce.
And that's so fun to watch. It makes you feel good because they're feeling good. And I think that's the power of drag is, whether you're giving female illusion or not, when you're transforming yourself into a, hyper extension, it's amazing power that it really gives a person as far as how they feel about themselves and what they're able to, project.
Yeah. What about you come up with some very, bold looks. Like, where does the inspiration for your looks come from?
Well, I like lots of different fashion references. I mean, I'll be honest, a lot of my... Dabbers! She is trying me on this good day. A lot of it comes from my designer, Mr. Howie. He works a lot with...
Go get Dabbers before...
I'm just going to close my door, so hopefully that is better. I love to work with Mr. Howie. He works with Lizzo a lot. You've seen his work on Lizzo. He's an incredible designer, and what he does is he redesigns a lot of my pieces. So I'll take something that I've worn, and he'll cut off the sleeves and make it legs, and he kind of so we do a lot of that. But if I'm just looking for references of looks that I like, I always look at queens. I mean, I really do. Violet Chachki is one of my biggest fashion inspirations. Miss Fame. I love Milk's creativity. Of course, my sister Gia Gunn for beauty. I definitely am inspired by queens because I think, you know, queens are the melting pot of a lot of designers. So
Yeah.
I don't know. That's who I'm usually inspired by, is other queens.
Yeah. So like now you branded yourself as the cannabis queen. What? And I've never done it. Like I've never tried it. I've never partaked or anything. But what benefits do you find for yourself in cannabis? Like what does it help you
Sure.
deal
Um,
with and so
my number one benefit is just stability. So
yeah,
it helps me stabilize my eating habits, my sleeping habits, and then just like my overall mood. So,
yeah.
especially during this time of quarantine when it's so easy to like feel down and negative, it's just really keeping me like upbeat and happy and laughing and eating and just feeling good about life.
Like so many people have said, Tony, I wonder what you would be, how you would be if you were high. And I was like, I guess that's something you just don't have to keep wondering because I just cannot pull myself to do it. Like I know I
Yeah,
don't knock anyone that does,
of
but
course.
you know, my thing is eating. Like I will eat all day, every day. Like
Yeah.
that's me.
Yeah.
That's my little vice.
Okay. Well, that's the thing, right? We all have our own vices, and you know, I
Yeah,
always say that cannabis is medicine, which means it's not for everyone. Not every medicine works for everyone, you know.
yeah.
And I'm followed by a lot of people who don't smoke, so I think it's totally fine if you don't, and it's just a personal choice.
Yeah. Okay, so I thought it would be fun to find out some of your favorite things to do while high.
Okay.
So I'm gonna ask you some stuff,
Okay.
and then you tell me what you like while you're high.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one is favorite TV show or movie to watch while high.
Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Shut up.
Yes, that movie's hysterical. I love it.
Is it extra
R.I.P. Brittany
hysterical?
Murphy.
Miss Brittany Murphy.
I know,
Poor thing.
bless her.
Bless her heart. Okay, favorite thing to eat while high.
Oof, this is a hard one. I have many favorites, but I'll just go with Chili's.
Oh, the
The
restaurant.
restaurant.
Anything for chili.
Because they
Go-
have all my favorites. Because I like salad, I like soup, and I like
Yes.
salsa. Those are like my three favorite munchy foods. And at
You are
Chili's, you get all of them.
you are also the only person that I have ever known to heavily promote chilies the
Love it.
way.
Love it. I'm from Dallas where they were originally created, so we have a long history together.
But see, I'm an Applebee's type of person. I
Oh,
love
no,
Applebee's.
girl. Ugh.
Oh, I love it.
I'll
I
do a
love it.
Fridays sometimes, but Chili's for forever.
So when you get high, it's like Chili's, send it all, and like you're good.
Or Pizza Hut. I love Pizza Hut too.
Oh, Pizza Hut is. You know,
Boneless buffalo wings and a pepperoni thin slice. Ooh.
I want to try the mozzarella steak pizza. Have you seen that?
No.
So it's like a pizza, but also like I think on top of the crust are like mozzarella bites.
Okay. I've had cheesy crust before. Is it like that? No.
Because the cheesy crust is the crust. But this is like I'm a bake a pizza, but I also want mozzarella sticks, so I'm gonna put my on top.
Well, that sounds like a heart attack just waiting to happen.
Well, I'm gonna catch it and come back to life.
Okay.
What? Okay, what's your favorite thing to cook while you're high?
Tex-Mex.
Ooh, that sounds
Like some
good.
tacos, you know, some shredded chicken,
Uh,
a little guacamole,
yes. Okay.
heat up some
Ooh,
tortillas,
flour tortillas, I hope.
flour, of course, yep. Maybe
Yes.
corn on the cob and then cut it off and make a lote. Very that.
Okay. Favorite place to be while getting high?
My
either your
outside
house.
patio.
Okay.
Yeah.
That that sounds very reflective. Like you sit on the patio, you can look up at the sky, you can just kind of be
I'm in my own
one with
home, so I
yourself.
feel comfortable, you know?
Yeah.
No
Okay.
one's gonna arrest me or give me trouble. I feel safe. I got my dog. Yeah.
Our favorite person to get high with. I feel
Oh,
like you're
there's
going
so
through a list.
many. There's so many. It's hard to just put it into one.
Okay, well then your top people.
Okay, well, my top people would be my best friends, Robert and Hector. Um,
Yes.
and then my other Hector in Florida.
Yes,
And
Miss
then I was
Hector.
thinking also my friend Aaron, who's known as the gay stoner in Colorado.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be
Um,
between the four of them for sure.
and then you get all four of y'all together, and
Then
it's
it's
just a mess.
over. It's a mess. It's a mess.
Okay, what's the weirdest craving or urge that you've had while high? Like you were just like, huh, I didn't know I wanted to do that, or huh, I didn't know I wanted to eat that, or huh, suddenly I want this,
Weirdest craving?
or urge to do something.
I don't have urges to do anything when I'm high. So it would definitely have to be an urge to eat something. And
Yeah.
I guess it would be like pickles. I guess that's a weird urge, right? Sometimes I
Why,
just
why,
need like salty things.
why is pickles like the go-to thing for like if anyone has an odd craving for something, it's always a pickle.
I mean, right? Well, just because we're told that's odd, so that's why I thought of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess so. I only eat pickles with certain things, like
Oh,
tuna.
really? I love pickles.
Like I don't think I've ever had just a straight up pickle.
You don't think you've ever had a straight up pickle?
Uh-uh.
Like at
I've
the movie
always
theater?
no.
Mm,
Uh-uh.
that's crazy to me.
No. No. Well, I know. I mean, I feel like the
Pickle
strangest
with a
thing.
little tahini, you know tahini, the
Yeah.
season. Oh, it's
Uh,
sickening.
No, I don't think I've ever just eaten a pickle.
Nope.
Nope. I feel like the strangest thing I've eaten is probably a mayonnaise sandwich.
Well, that sounds gross.
Yeah, whoa, let me
Yeah.
tell you, it was everything. Like a mayonnaise sandwich with some red
What is
Kool-Aid.
that? Just
That,
bread
that
and
was it.
mayonnaise?
Just mayonnaise and bread.
Ew.
It's so good,
Why?
especially with red Kool-Aid. I don't know. Listen, when
I've heard
okay,
that. Red Kool-Aid,
yeah, it
it's
would be that.
sour.
Oh no, well, you're not drinking the right Kool-Aid because Kool-Aid is sweet.
Really?
It's supposed to be. If
Without
someone
the...
else made it for you, they didn't make it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Weird,
Kool-Aid.
but you're right. That's a weird crave.
I used to also drink what I call sugar water, where like it would just be hot water with sugar in it. Oh, it was so good.
I used to drink, well, I still do, water with just a ton of lime.
That's lemonade.
It's not lemonade. It's water with a ton of lime. And
Oh,
sometimes a
lime.
little of that lime salt in there. Ooh, it's good.
I'm thinking lemons.
No, I like lime. Lime water.
Interesting.
Like,
Okay.
you ever
Well, you
get
know
that
what?
lime juice from concentrate? I would just squirt a ton
Yes.
of that in there.
That may go with the Tex-Mex. So you get the Tex-Mex and the lime water, bitch, you might be in heaven.
Right.
Okay. Okay. When you're high, do you prefer a bath or a shower? I feel like I
Bath
already
always.
know.
Bath always.
She get her Lush products and
But
living her
Mama, I
life.
don't have a bath in my new house, so I don't really take baths anymore. I know. It's sad.
Girl, how are you gonna survive without the bath
I just
and the bath
adapted.
bomb?
I just adapted.
Listen, this is when you have a good friend and you go, listen, how your bathroom looking? Because I might need to come over.
Well, sometimes when I travel, the hotels will have baths, so that's nice.
Ooh, yes. Ooh,
So it's
hotel
like
showers.
it like makes traveling fun again because I'm like, ooh, there might be a bath.
Okay. Favorite thing to wear when you're high, getting high.
Just like a long T-shirt, like a T-shirt dress.
Yes.
Very comfortable, nothing to restrain the legs.
Right. You kind of stretch out.
Or my Versace robe. I do wear that a lot.
She is Versace down.
As long as there's no pants or like things containing all that, I just like to be free.
You just like to be free flowing.
That's right.
Okay. Okay. I'm with it. Okay. Person you would like to see high. Like you've always looked at someone and go, I just want to see how you would be high. And you want to be the person to introduce that person to it.
I don't know because everyone I hang out with smokes. I'm trying to think like who in my life doesn't smoke that I want to smoke. I guess that's like my thing. It's like if you don't smoke, I don't want you to. You know what I mean? I'm not one of those people who's like, oh no, you have to try it, or like peer pressure someone into smoking. Like, I don't know. I've just never been that way. So I'm very, it would be hard to think of someone who I'm like, oh, if only they smoke. Maybe someone who's like super high maintenance who needs to like chill out, but I'm not friends with them, so I don't know.
You're like, I can't be bothered with you.
Nope.
Okay, last one. Favorite thing to do after getting high? I feel like I know this, but I'm just going to ask you anyway.
I like to dance. I like yoga. I like an activity. A physical activity after getting high is definitely fun.
Oh, okay. I would have guessed fall asleep.
Oh, no. No, I only smoke sleepy time weed at night, and that's to go to bed. Otherwise, I'm on sativa, I'm up, I'm moving, I'm grooving. I want to go to Six Flags. I want to do something.
I don't know. I guess it affects everyone differently. Like all the people that I know, most of the people I know that smoke, they just want to eat and sleep.
Yeah, eating is definitely a good one. You know, eating is fun when stoned, for sure. And sleeping, you sleep better. But I don't know. I just if smoking weed made me want to sleep all the time, then I wouldn't be able to live my life. You know. So I definitely like to be active on it.
So okay, and that's the end of that. So next up, you have the next show that you have is next week, April 11th.
No, I have one this week, April 5th.
April 5th.
April 5th. It's the Sickening Drag event on Twitch. So they actually had us submit videos instead of doing it live. So I went to Hollywood Boulevard and turned it out and did a little one take to my song Legs, jumping in the middle of the street and everything. So that's definitely going to be fun. And then the following week, I have one on the 11th. I believe you're right. That's for the PEG Digital Drag Fest. So I actually have my own 30-minute show underneath the title Iconic. So it's going to be a little bit of everything. My dog's going to show off some tricks. I'm going to teach you how to roll a blunt. I'll, of course, be performing all my hit singles. So that should be really fun. And then I know I've signed up for Barbie's show on Wednesday, which I believe is the 18th. I'm also doing one for Cake Moss, which I believe is on the 5th. I don't know. I'm doing a lot, girl. Any digital drag show out there, hit me up. I'm saying yes.
So you, like, again, since I've known you, you've done so much. What do you feel are like your biggest opportunities that you've had so far? Like you're in it and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening.
I mean, definitely, you know, working with Miley Cyrus, Jeffree Star, Heidi Klum. Anytime I work with a celebrity, I'm always just gagged and like that is happening. Or really anyone that I've looked up to. In fact, Alexis Nears, who was infamous for the bling ring, you know, she and I became close after doing her podcast. And, you know, so it's like anytime I get to meet someone that as a kid I watched and was like, wow, they're like a star, they're in Hollywood, and like now I'm friends with them, I think those are moments that definitely make me go like, wow, I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah, speaking of Heidi, another pop-up was when I randomly sat in the audience of Queen of Drags. And I was so curious because I kept hearing like there was a drag show happening. And I was like, what is this? So I finally figured out how to like go get paid to sit in the audience. And Heidi comes out. And the gag for me, first gag was, it's in German. So I'm like, okay, so we're going to have to, follow along. And then she said, and welcome, Miss Laganja Estranja. I said, bitch. Like,
surprise! Yeah,
the finale.
Heidi's been incredible to me. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
from having me go to Pride with her to choreographing Germany's Next Top Model finale, and then being the final guest on her show, Queen of Drags. It's just been incredible. I mean, she has shown me so much support. I really feel blessed to have her friendship.
And I think that's the thing is that in this industry, as performers, as entertainers, as creatives, you just want someone like that to just see what you're doing, appreciate what you're doing, and support what you're doing. And like the interaction that you guys had and the kikis that you guys were having, like while I was there seeing you guys, I was like, this is like, I was so happy and like just happy that like she sees what we all see in you, and that also she gave you another platform to showcase that because you slayed that performance like I knew you would.
Thank you.
They were like, she's performing. I said, oh boy.
And meanwhile, my foot was hurt that whole time too.
Was it?
Yeah, I had a sprained toe.
Couldn't tell.
Girl just wrapped her up and said, here we go, Gorge. But yeah, I exactly what you said. I've worked with so many celebrities, and I feel like a lot of the times what happens is I come into their life when they need me, and then when they no longer need me, I'm discarded. But so far with Heidi, that's just not been the case. She just keeps my faith that she is just truly a genuine person who loves drag and wants to support this. And that's why when people in Germany were so much like, why is she doing this show and why is she the host? I just wanted to scream because I'm like, no, like she really loves this and supports us.
Yeah, she really does, and she really gets into it. Like from what I can tell, she seems like one of those people that's very cool and humble and down to earth, and she doesn't take herself too seriously. Like she's having fun and having a good time.
Mama. She is hysterical. Yeah. I don't want to reveal any of her tea, but trust me when I say she is a old soul with a young, sexy, hot, turned up spirit.
So with the ebbs and flows of like, your career and your journey, what keeps you motivated? What keeps you pushing towards that ultimate goal? And what is the ultimate goal for Laganja Estranja or Jay Jackson?
Sure. The ultimate goal has never changed, and that is to have my own dance company that I'm the artistic director of. That's the ultimate goal. But right now, the goal is to become the Missy Elliott of drag. I want to put out my album, Iconic, that I've been working on for over 2 years now. And I want that to be very successful in the drag world first. So what my hope is that when I put the album out, it was supposed to come out July 10th, which is National Dab Day. Dab is a concentrated version of THC. It's a different way of smoking cannabis. So National Dab Day, I was supposed to put out the full album, but obviously with the corona, it's set us back. I'm not able to go to Atlanta, which is where I make the music. But again, I believe everything happens for a reason, so I'll probably put out a single, hopefully, on Dab Day, and then the album will follow later this year. And the goal is that it will, inspire the drag clubs to bring me back again, give me another opportunity to really prove myself, and thus doing so, create, a bigger platform, get bigger success in that arena. I've looked at Aja, Blair St. Clair, Alaska, these girls, Willem, these girls have really taken their music and been able to transform that into, touring and merchandise. And that's really where I want to go. I mean, I've been there before, I was there with the House of Edwards. I was there with Team Too Much. And then I sort of started doing it by myself, but I feel like there was a bit of a slowdown. So I'm hoping that my music will re-excite people, give me the opportunity to get back out there, show people. And then I want to take that on a huger scale. You know, I would love to do like TV placements and have my music in commercials and, you know, really have that be taken seriously while I'm still young and can perform and can do all these crazy dips and jump off things. But I guess for me right now, you know, I know that that has its limitations, and I really, I want the world to see it on a bigger scale while I can still physically do it, you know? So that's why I'm so focused on the music, on being able to produce my own tour, my own show with dancers and fog and lights and costumes. You know, I've never really gotten to do my own one-woman show like a Sasha Velour or a Jinx or a Shangela even, you know? And so I feel like it's long overdue, but it's just been difficult to try to raise money to put on a show like that when I don't necessarily, you know, have all the numbers that those girls have.
Yeah. Well, I will say if you did put that show on, I know for sure it would be amazing because I know I've always seen how your mind works and how even for a performance at Mickey's, how like planned out everything was from the look, from the costume to the theme to the dancers to the choreography. Everything is planned out, so I can only imagine.
Mama, I used to send my music early to DJ Paolo so he could do the lights.
Yeah.
I was very that girl.
It was like, I'd be like, Laganja, what day can I book you on a Monday? Hold up, because I got to get new numbers. Let me see how my schedule is working. Let me get back to you. And you would always take time.
Come into the club, do a run through before the audience would get there. I mean, yeah.
Full out production.
Musical theater trained, honey.
Yes. But I always greatly appreciated, like, just how seriously you take everything and seriously you take your performances and what you put out there. You know, you were never someone who was just like, oh, I'll just redo this performance. You know, you were like, no, you know, this is tape, this is go on YouTube, this is going to live forever. I want to make sure that I come in with something new every time I hit that stage. And you always did that. So I just appreciate, you know, you and everything that you've done and everything that you continue to contribute. And I know that, you know, you're just going to continue doing great things and continue being amazing. You have such an amazing support system and everything. So I have no doubt that everything that you're thinking of that may seem like it's impossible is going to be possible for you.
Well, thank you for saying that. And, you know, all I can say is, you know, I won't put something out until I know it's right. And I think that's why it's taken a while. But my heart is really in it. I know I've got the right team now, you know, as far as the music production side goes. So it's just a matter of getting outside of our houses, having this virus lift, and getting back to the plan and the goals. So, you know, until then, I'm just listening to the universe and taking this time to really be at home and be one with myself and figure out, you know, what it is that I can do during this time to keep my name out there. So thanks to everyone who tuned in and is watching and is supporting me during this time, including you, Tony. It's great to talk to you and to be able to do this.
Yes, and I completely appreciate you. And, you know, if you ever need something, you just let me know. I'm only call, text, or DM away.
Huh.
Walk away. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I'll be in touch with you. We'll talk again soon.
Okay, absolutely.
All right.
Well, enjoy the rest of your interviews. You have 2 more today, yeah?
Yes. Listen, this is my creative outlet. So, like, you know, I'm like, who wants to talk? Who wants to do stuff?
Who else do you have today?
Today is Archon, who's the stylist on Drag Race, and Daniel Francesi, who's guest judging on Drag Race tonight.
And what did you say? Who's the first person?
Archon.
And he's what?
The stylist.
Oh, the stylist.
Yeah.
Word.
So,
well, that'll be cool. And what time are those at?
At 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Okay, work. And I'll be back on live today at 4:20, as I am every day with my online smoke sesh. So if you guys want more of me, tune in on my Instagram at 4:20.
Yes. Oh, well, thank you, Ganja.
Of course, I love you.
I love you, and we'll talk again soon.
Okay, Gorge. Have a good rest of your day.
Okay, you too. Bye.
Bye, honey.
Oh my gosh, I simply adore Laganja. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and make sure you go check her out. Go like her, follow her. Her Instagram handle is @Laganja, and go smoke with her at 420. She's on there daily. Go holler at her. Go support her. Go talk to her. All the things. And of course, stay tuned for more episodes of Tell Me More with me, Tony Moore, coming up in just a few minutes. All right, y'all. Bye.